I had butterflies before I gave my report. Once I gave my report, you know how I start in then. Nobody believes me ever have butterflies.
I didn't turn my back to anybody. We're on record.
What time is it?
Lowell should be joining us.
It's
Rebecca coming?
I got 2:15 on my watch.
2:14 I have. Oh,
Yeah.
just switched now.
And you got an agenda down there?
I do.
You want to share with me?
Yep. I'm just going to try and call Lowell and see if he's.
Okay. What about Rebecca?
She had to move her doctor's appointment.
Let me get one to Tom
To
here.
come today?
You got an extra one for Tom here?
Yeah.
Sounds like it got moved to today.
Oh, yeah, to the tree today. So
Here, good.
it'll be
Thank you.
Finance work session. Finance work session.
You want to give Lowell a couple minutes
I will. I need a
before you call?
motion.
Well, before you call it to order, you want to give him like 5 minutes before you call the meeting to order?
Yes.
And we're all recorded. Everyone, if they can hear me.
Not a problem. Before Lowell gets here, this is not council business. I have a request to close Church Street Saturday, February 16th for a couple hours due to a wedding. So I don't have a problem with
You
that.
won't be making a motion until Monday.
What?
This would
Close the
be,
street?
this would be a motion by council. Yes.
Really?
You know the street chairman?
Yes.
Okay.
And plus, this meeting wasn't called for that. It's
Okay.
called for a finance work
Well, we
session.
haven't called the meeting yet.
That's what I'm saying, so you can't ask for any kind of.
I'm not, I'm just running it by you.
I see no problem with it though.
There he is.
Well, you can take a seat right there if you want.
I think you want the space.
What'd you say?
Said you can sit here or you can take your, if you want big space, you can sit over there.
I have my choice, do I?
Yeah. I see Candy down here though. I don't know who left that there.
That's dessert from one. Okay, now we can call this meeting to order.
And we're on record, Lowell.
All right. Let's do a pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, so now we're all rearranged. You gotta bear with me. Okay. Lowell,
Yes.
David,
Here.
Becky,
Here.
Tammy,
Here.
and Tom.
Here.
Very good.
And Rebecca is not here.
All right, we need a motion to excuse Rebecca.
You got that motion.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Vote.
Who wants to second?
It don't matter. Oh, it.
Tammy, okay. All right, roll call. Lowell, David,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
and Tom.
Yes.
Okay.
She had a doctor's appointment.
She said something about either Tuesday or Thursday she would have a doctor's appointment.
Yep.
Every day, every time. I think it's Tuesday and Thursday.
We have an agenda.
Yep.
Recent prior records request discussion. I know we've had prior records requests that we had discussed
Do we have new ones?
an amount of
Yes.
hours involved. So do we have new requests?
We do. So if you would like for me to, okay.
Yes, I would.
Okay, so during, just a recap from our last meeting, for those of you that were not here, from that meeting, the result of that meeting, we were going to come back today and create a policy. Okay, that was what was asked of me, is to create a policy. So what I had done is I have reached out to 5 different places. I have New Hollands, I have South Charleston's, I have Grove City, and I have Leesburg's. Okay? Not all policy or records requests are all of the same. Okay? For instance, Leesburg, they follow the Sunshine and ORC law. Okay? Some of the other ones, like Grove City and stuff, because they are a larger municipality, they follow, you know, come in and see them, we'll charge you for copies. New Holland is the same way, they do that as well. But they also follow some parts of their policy and what they have follows the Sunshine Law as well.
Seems like it's what Leesburg does.
Okay, so, you know, again, all of them, they just, some of, like this publication, they just put it up there and say, if you want a public records request, you'll have to come in during our business time.
Have to come in and what?
During the business hours to view those. So,
How do you feel if she decides to come in tomorrow for a records request? What's she gonna do?
if she were to ask for minutes or resolutions, of course, I have all that information in, you know, where we're supposed to keep them. I would just bring her into here, I would assume,
Yes.
and give her the book and let her read them.
Oh, is she the one requesting?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
She's
Is
sitting
it
there and I
Cassie
can
Thomas
tell.
again?
Yes,
Okay. The second request is
Or I don't think.
all of the requests are.
No.
for Cassie.
No.
Yeah.
We've been doing some research on the Sunshine Law and costs. That's what we're mainly I'm concerned about, it's cost. And so we found some key issues in here. Just because you request something from me doesn't mean I have to copy it.
Okay.
Meaning like they can come in and look at it.
Yes, they can come in and look at it, but just because they request it doesn't carry the cost of the production of it.
But let me ask you this. In the instance where she's gonna have to do all this extra
Yes,
digging
no,
from
that's
years
going on.
back, and that's overtime,
Yes, it is. If we so choose, we have to cover our cost to produce it. Even if you come in and you say, I want a copy of this, there it is, you read it, if we have to copy it, there's a cost. But just because you come in and want this doesn't mean we have to copy it. That's not part of the deal. That's extra.
yeah. Yeah, I don't have, what's frustrating, I don't have a problem with making the copies and charging
Right,
10 or 20
right.
cents a copy, whatever we decided to do. But what I have a problem with is, you know, all the overtime we're gonna give her.
It is.
And, you know, overtime is at time and a half, and that's, you know, costing the community. I think we figured last time was close, could be up to $1,000
Yes.
for that first records request. So
Yes.
that's what's frustrating.
It is.
Okay, that's the first records request.
What
Do
other
I
requests do we
understand-
have?
Did you say that we had
Yes.
more?
Yes.
More records requests?
Well, and there was some clarifications too, or some questions that were asked. The original records request is, I would like to request the following public records, please. An email correspondence between the mayor, council members in the last 12 months. A copy of all water bills for churches, businesses in Mount Sterling with the receipts of payment since 2015. That one has been redacted.
We've also discovered that because you request the financial for whoever paid their water bills or whatever, we don't have to supply it. That is privileged information that is not available under the Sunshine Law. So that will save us lots of
Research
time and
time.
effort. So, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I
Sometimes
mean,
when
with
you
these
do,
requests, can I ask, I mean, I'm sure these requests we're able to see, but with these requests, is there a purpose? I mean,
That's
With
another
records
thing.
requests, now, I don't really care what the requests, why they want them.
Right.
There's a reason why that person wants them, okay? I feel that it's our due diligence to get this request completed and what the law shows.
And
Now, for us
time
not to respond is not a good answer. That's not professional and that should not be happening.
right.
What I feel is that whatever the request is, that council as a whole sits down and makes sure that that is a request, because it's either it is a request or it's not a request. Per the Sunshine Law and the ORC, it's already been replied back to her that she could not have the payments, the receipt payments for the churches and businesses. Now, what I also did is to do my own research too, because you know there's always, somebody else has a different opinion on how they interpret what a wall stands for, okay? So I spoke to the Attorney General in regards to this request here, and this one was redacted. This copy of the church and businesses that this person is requesting, it was redacted in another request here.
By that person?
Yes. In requesting, this is a redacted copy. I am requesting a redacted copy of the water billing system or statements for local Mount Sterling businesses and churches for the following years, 2014, 15, and 16. I am also redacting copies of the village receipts of payments from the same mentioned churches and businesses for 2014, 15, and 16. As I am requesting no individual personal information, the redacted version of these copies are considered public records per the Sunshine Law. But that was not what was replied back to her originally.
Right.
Okay, so originally what was replied back is ORC number 149, spot 43, A1, AA, a public records request does not mean the following. So within the Sunshine Law, there are certain parts of the request that are not to be met or are not considered a public records request.
Right.
Okay.
We still cannot release.
So when I call the Attorney General, because I like to get different opinions, I like to, you know, what is the right, because I can interpret it something different than what everybody else could. But the usage information, including names and addresses of specific residential and commercial customers of a municipality, is owned and operated by a public utility. Okay. So when I spoke with the AG, the Attorney General's area, they said if you have an attorney, you have to be directed and you will follow what the attorney recommends for you. When I spoke to Pitstick, he says this still follows under this ORC.
Meaning?
Meaning that we cannot supply that information to her.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
So this redacted portion will be replied back to her saying that it cannot be completed.
Right.
Okay?
If I'm not mistaken, like redacted information is where like names and things are blacked out,
Right.
correct?
Yes.
Why would that information be any good to anybody if it didn't tell what church and what business?
Well, it's not for us to decode on why
We're not
and what
allowed
the
to
reason
ask
for.
them their purpose.
We're not allowed
No,
to
I
ask
read it
them?
somewhere. We're not supposed to ask.
Well, that's not completely
Well,
true though.
right.
Because there is something in the
Yeah.
Sunshine Law that you have checkmarked that
Right.
says that depending upon what it is, you can actually ask it. You can ask what this is for.
You're right.
Yeah.
So he does have that, Lowell, if you wanted to pull that out.
We can do that.
So somewhat that's true, somewhat that's not. Because you can't ask for the purpose of that. But do I really care? I really don't
Well,
care.
if we don't provide it, then, I mean, if.
That's what I'm saying. So at
Yeah,
this
so that
point,
one is-
Pitstick has made his legal determination. This is what I need for you guys to make a motion on and say that I can send this back to her because I will not be responding anything because there is no policy. So this will all come to you guys as a motion for recommendations
All right, let's make a motion
to decline this.
to decline this. I need a motion to decline that, so we'll be moving right along.
That's
Thank you very much.
personal
Second.
information, right?
Yeah.
I'll
David?
Okay.
Okay, very
Becky,
good.
second? Okay.
Roll call.
Okay, do you just want to do a roll call just with the finance, or would you like to have everybody
Let's do
do a roll
it
call?
with, we are in what, work session for council, right?
It is a finance work
Yes.
session.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter, let's
Mhm.
make the motion.
Okay, so Lowell,
Yes,
David,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
and Tammy,
Yes.
and Tom.
I have to abstain now. Conflict of interest.
Now, is it water bills? Right.
Yeah, water bills, yes, and I just want to make sure you guys.
I'm just making notes.
That's okay, that's all right, just so that you got it right. I'm also requesting redacted copies of the village's receipts of payments. So therefore, it's from 14, 15, and 16, wanting receipts of payment, but they do not want the individual's personal information, so just so that we're clear,
yeah, right.
okay? She's not asking for that.
Well, she has changed it, or whoever.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying, is that she's, at this point, staying, she just wants the
Okay.
receipts of
So
payment,
you're
not with
gonna,
the name on
you're
it.
going back to her and tell her.
Yes, I will
Okay.
reply back.
Now, is there anything else about records requests we need to cover?
Yes. Okay. So the other section of this, okay, so this was a certified letter. I'm requesting to see or get original copies of the February 5th, 2015 and February 9th of 2015 Village Council meeting minutes. Or, yes, council meetings.
Now,
Now,
That same person?
yes,
And that came in when?
this is a certified letter. She has it dated on the 14th of January.
Those records are available.
Okay, but again, let's revisit what our last meeting was. Because from what I understand, now I wasn't here during the tenure of 2015. So what I have been told, and again, I have not worked on any of this until I get the motion and okay for you guys to have this in overtime. This information, from what I'm told, is either on a VHS or a disc. Okay? Now, if I were to just pop it into my DVD player or pop it into my computer, I will not be able to see like you would see on a regular YouTube video. Okay? It is altered. It has to be re-imaged. Okay? Which means that it has to be sent to somebody that has the software to re-image those meetings onto another disc, because we can't give away our original. Now, I did do the research. The guy charges between $65 and $70 an hour to do this. But he does not know how long it's going to take to do so.
Right.
But didn't
Okay.
we decide at last meeting we would let her view them as is and see if she was
Yes.
satisfied with that?
So what I'm asking is, in the question that I asked once before in the last meeting, is that is it the village's responsibility to just give that CD over how it is? Which again, if you pop it into something, it's not going to say anything. Okay,
We don't know
let me
that, right?
finish. So either you put it in a CD and you don't image it. Is it still the responsibility of the village to still give that person a copy of the correct way it's imaged?
Well,
I just-
One of these papers, see if you can find it.
So that's what I'm
I'm not
asking.
looking
Let's
for-
make sure that when we reply back, that's not true.
It says, she'll find it, but, we give them what we have.
Yes.
The
Yes,
Sunshine Law
exactly.
says we are not to modify, if they ask for an ordinance or resolution, we don't have it, we don't have it. I mean, that's shame on us, but we are not to make that ordinance or resolution in print or nothing. We are not to modify anything we have. Sunshine Law says you give them what you have. You know, I mean, it's not our place.
That's what she's saying.
We can't go and pay and have videos picked. We have to give her what we got. If it's wrong, shame on us as a whole. But it's, you know, we are to give them.
So those are.
We can't make up minutes. We're not allowed. If we don't have
Well,
it,
the
we don't
minutes
have
are
it.
online, so again, that was declined.
I
The
mean,
minutes-
certain ones, you
that's
know,
right.
have
Minutes-
some or.
Yeah.
That's
But the
correct.
minutes that she's requested at this point are online, but she still, that's the certified letter that still she's wanting the actual recordings. But do you guys understand what I'm asking?
Right.
Okay.
We should not.
Let's go back.
We
on.
can't go and pay and modify them when really we should, because it says not
$65
to come up with what you don't have.
She wants to
You find
look at
that.
the originals.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, I think
I think it's
for the public
yeah.
existing records, the proper subject of a public record request is a record that actually exists at the time of the request. Not unrecorded or dispersed information the requester seeks to obtain. For example, if the person asks for a public office list of court cases pending against it, the office doesn't keep such a list. The public office is under no duty to create that
Right,
list.
you don't create something we don't have.
Okay, so is that like is that part of the Sunshine Law, or
Yeah, I got it
what
out.
section?
This is Ohio Public Records Act,
Yeah,
Chapter
which
2, Section 3.
That's in here.
Section 3, okay. All right, so if you guys are okay with this, I would still like to have a motion to have me to reply back on behalf of the village to state that in the Sunshine Law, Chapter 2, Section 3, I will highlight that and send that back and advise her that it would be readily available for her to review during regular business hours in the
Form that it
in the form
exists.
that it is in.
Right.
Existing form.
Let her know we don't know if it's watchable or not. But
Okay, I need a motion for that.
You got it. You got it.
Second?
David's-
I'll
Who
second,
got it?
Lowell was first.
Okay.
Okay. Vote.
The Lowells.
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Tammy,
yes.
Becky,
Yes.
and Tom.
Abstain.
Okay.
Now, is
All
there
right.
anything else about record
Yes.
request?
Okay.
Okay, everybody see this?
Yeah, because can I have that back, because that's my original. Okay, so let me make sure, I just want to.
While you're looking for that,
Okay, so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
while you're looking for that, last year, I had my computer to crash, and we had everybody to work on it. We could not create and restore it. But one of the companies I took it to was called Magnext Data Recovery, and Courtney, I'm going to have you call them after a while to see if they can give us any information on restoring or duplicating our records for her request and what the cost would be. But
Well, didn't you guys just make a motion to not do that?
Right, we're just gonna do it in the form it exists.
You guys exist, I think that's our best money saving one.
Yeah, the way it exists right now.
Yeah, I think that's what we do.
Okay, but in the future, like, yeah, that would be a good idea
Yeah,
to,
I would do.
to see
so
if
if we
something
have
were.
to copy them,
Okay.
Yeah,
we got an
it-
idea.
Yeah, we'll have something
I agree,
already
yeah.
exist and it just needs a copy.
That way you'd have a way of doing it.
And they would also know whether they could copy our records or not.
Yeah. But now with YouTube, now that we're streaming on YouTube, it's on there forever for anybody to view.
Well, yes, but for those years we're talking about, the prior requests are not on
Yeah.
anything.
Okay, so then an email correspondence between the mayor, council members in the last 12 months. I know that I had found some in mine,
I had
in my
none.
email.
I had none from Billy.
Okay.
I can find none.
Yeah. Okay, so recordings of the council meetings from February, we just discussed that one. Okay, so any records of original price for land where the water company, I'm assuming water plant, was purchased and seller. The amount by Mount Sterling paid for the land and to whom the detailed finance records for the purchase along with the copies of the checks. That's gonna take me a minute to find what documentation that is. So that's nothing that you guys need to make a motion on. That'll be a Courtney thing.
Is that a new one there?
No, this is the original one. Okay, so then we got this one and this one. Okay, so during our last meeting, you guys gave me the okay to respond back to her and stating that we would go ahead and create a policy. Okay, and that's what I've done. Her response is I'm curious on how I will be held to the standard of a new policy when the policy was not in place when I made my request. Per the Sunshine Law, Chapter 5, Mount Sterling was obligated to have a policy in place. This is failure on Mount Sterling. I should not be able to be held to the standard that was not in place at the time of my request. I feel that Mount Sterling is prolonging the completion of my records request and showing blank disregard for an Open Information Act. I have attempted to work with the Village of Mount Sterling by offering to view the records and where they were housed at the time and the date of your choosing. I respectfully request that my records request be completed without hesitation, as I do not expect public information to be utterly withheld due to the seemingly chronic lack of urgency to comply with my public records request by the Village of Mount Sterling.
Okay, so you showed that fit stick?
I did.
Well, okay.
Okay.
So now though, we have answers to all of her record requests except for the property, correct? How much it cost and where
Yes.
and all that.
Mhm.
And you're gonna do that when you can.
Yes.
Okay.
So are we now, is she just wanting, what does she want?
She's saying, which to an extent I have to agree.
Because we
She's
don't have
saying
a
because we
record.
didn't have a policy, like,
Well, we can't say we don't have a
right,
policy.
right, but the old policy.
Yeah.
She's saying why should she, since she requested before we came up with a new policy.
We haven't came up with a brand new
Right,
policy
so
yet, have we?
technically, should we go with what policy's in place for her request?
For what?
Well, there's not a policy
There's
in place.
There's
So-
nothing we're gonna,
What I'm asking, and at this point, curious of how it will be held to a standard of a new policy. My thinking of that is you follow what's in the Sunshine Law. You follow what's in the ORC and what's in the Sunshine Law. So that's what your policy is, because that's a general policy for every municipality.
okay.
You may have a
That's
structured
like our
policy.
fallback.
Correct.
Okay.
You may have a structured policy, which means that, say we want to charge them $20 for every page. I mean, you get what I'm saying? That's a personal policy. I don't agree at the point of saying we don't or we do, because if somebody were there, I mean, if somebody were
Yeah.
back in 2007, we could say that there was an updated version, but that could have been updated by the janitor. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know to say that we do or we don't. If you guys would like for me to go ahead and search for one, again, in the records room, to see if it's there, or do a little bit more digging, that would be on the motion of you guys.
Well,
Is that
don't we
gonna
want
cost us
to
over
create a
time?
new one
Yes.
going forward?
We're gonna do that right now.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
don't even know why worry about the old one. right?
So, I mean, at this point, in my opinion, you just go based upon what the Sunshine Law
Right.
shows.
Right,
We'll
like this
go by-
municipality
Yeah,
Let's
we'll
go
by
does
straight
that.
down.
Okay.
Okay, moving right along. Have you looked at all these, reviewed all these records request policies from these communities, or has anybody?
I
Is
just
there-
gave it to him just now.
Is there one in particular that stands out that we need to adopt? Or some from each of them?
They're all similar.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, some
Right,
people follow
I
the
see a 10
Sunshine.
cent, a 15 cent copies. I mean, if we're talking about just how much a copy costs, that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Plus they're allowed to view them here for free.
Right, if they
Right.
want to take home a
Right.
copy, right, they just have to pay the copying cost.
Sounds like me, it's very
But,
pricey.
but moving forward, if there is more recovery, for instance, we have to pay her $15 an hour overtime, should that be,
We can't. Sunshine Law said we cannot charge the requester for labor done.
Okay.
We just have to straight out.
Yes.
we just
We
have to
can't-
pay it,
we
eat
cannot
it,
put
the
labor
village just
of
eats
doing
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
we
what do
just
you mean?
charge,
We can't.
We can't charge the person that requested Courtney's time.
right,
you know,
so
let's
if
just
it
say
costs
that.
$40 an hour for 10 hours,
No,
then
we can't
we
do
just
that.
have to pay the
No,
All we
400.
can do is
No,
charge her
ourselves.
for
The copies.
the copies.
And I think I saw
The
like you can
copy.
charge for copying a disc
Yes.
and like the actual,
But in that, and I think I didn't bring it with me. But in the Sunshine Law, I want to say it was on page 16 and 17. So can I have a copy? Can I have that?
This?
Yeah.
we'll pass this down both.
Okay, so on page 16, 17, it states,
I read it and then I can't find it.
okay. Okay, so on page 16, chapter 2, section 11, inspection at no cost during regular business hours. A public office must make its public records available for inspection at all reasonable times during regular business hours. Regular business hours means establishing business hours. When a public office operates 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Posting records online is one means of providing them for inspection. The public office may not charge a fee just because a person could use their own equipment to print or otherwise download a recording. Okay, so if you guys have me go back and say, you know, if any of these requests here want to be, you know, viewed, do you guys want her to come in here and view that, or are you saying, you know, we'll make you a copy at, and then it goes on to copies and deliveries. A public office may charge costs for copies and or delivery of transmissions, and it may require payment of both costs in advance.
They view it here for us, huh?
At cost includes the actual cost of making copies, packaging, posting, and other costs of methods for the delivery of transmission chosen by the requester. The cost of an employee cannot include any cost of copies of a delivery. A public office is not required to create new records to respond to public records requests, even if it's only in a matter of complying information for existing records. And then, okay, so.
So if I just heard that right, so if you go to find something, let's say, I mean, surely there's going to be records of the purchase price of land, but if you go to find that canceled check or whatever, I thought I heard her
Yes.
say, and it's not there, you can't create something new and tell her, you know, because you just have to go on what we have, and that's
Just have to
it.
let her
Whatever's there,
know.
whatever's there, basically.
So
yeah.
are you guys making a recommendation that everything is to be viewed here, or are you wanting copies to be sent to her? Because if that's
View
the
here.
case,
My opinion, view here.
You here, and
If she wants a copy,
it's going to
then
save
she
her.
can pay for it.
Yeah, it's going to save her money too if she comes here and gets a copy
Well, we'll have
instead
to
of
figure
having
out
it
the cost.
delivered.
So I need a motion.
a motion to say, and the motion is to say that any of the
Anyone.
records is to be held here for viewing.
Right.
Right.
And if they want a
Anyone
copy,
during business hours.
copy.
Right.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay, docs.
I have a question, if I may. I've had to abstain because of a possible, because there is a conflict of interest in me. Now, when we're doing this policy now, do I still have to abstain, or should I still abstain because there's a conflict of interest?
That's up to you.
Well, I think if you, and this is my opinion, I'm no attorney, but if you are acting as a council member to determine what the policy is, you're not acting any parts of what Cassie's asking.
Yeah,
So-
see, the thing is that up until Sunday, I had no idea who this person was. And today's the first time that I know of that you've mentioned the name publicly, okay? And I did not know it until Sunday, so that's the reason why I am abstaining. And I just want to make sure that if we do, or if I do, vote on a policy that we're making that is strictly on that policy and has nothing to do with the other.
Yes, that's how I would be viewing it, is that you as a council member are basing your judgment, your opinion, your idea and your belief on what the policy should be moving forward. Nothing from what has been in the past, because I don't feel that that's fair either. I mean,
Right.
you know, I think we should go with what the
The
sunshine law.
policy's for everybody, not
Yes,
just.
from this
certain
point
person.
on is what you're going to be, what I feel you should be.
Right.
Okay, so the
Thank you.
documents, you're welcome. So the documents to be used and viewed here at Town Hall,
Yes.
and then any additional copies.
If
Maybe
she wants a copy of the
requested,
paper,
but, what are we gonna do, like 10 cents?
We're gonna have to make up the
15?
policy.
Well,
That's
and
what we're doing, isn't
and,
it?
yeah, and the sunshine law, well, here's the thing, her request came in before we've established the policy. So her request has to be on the designation of what you guys
Right.
are asking.
Well,
From this point on,
Huh?
from,
on the policy we had, which goes back to 207.
Well, again, I don't know if that's really right, because it's just a document, it's not a signed resolution or ordinance.
yeah, it never went through council. Somebody said and made it up. And it's
I never
there.
heard of it.
But, I
never
mean,
saw
her
it.
request came in before you guys are establishing the
Right.
policy.
So anything from February 5th on,
We'll
we're
have this
taking
new
action
policy.
on right now with a
New policy.
records request policy.
Okay, but her request
Correct.
came in before
I
that.
know.
then that means
So
we can't
she
hold it
comes
to
in
it.
That's what I'm
here,
saying.
she comes in here during working hours and she sees whatever you got, whatever she wants to
Right,
see.
so right now, we're just going off of the sunshine laws.
Yes,
Right.
but the
Policy.
sunshine law doesn't state what the cost should be.
Right,
Okay, so I just want to be clear that there may have to be a conversation we come back here to say, and say, how much are you going to charge this person?
Well, we may come back and revisit that,
Yeah,
but let's get a records request policy now,
We
in
need
case we
that
get
now.
from
more.
this day on.
Yeah.
Because it's February 5th. We may be sitting here December 5th talking about the same thing.
right.
okay, so I would like to first have, just to make sure, documents to be used and viewed here at Town Hall, and that's what I'm going to be replying back,
Right,
is, so I would like to make sure that I have a motion for that,
yes.
to reply back to that.
Okay, wait a minute. Question, if I may. Now, you said you're replying back, so therefore I'll have to abstain again.
All right.
Yes, that's fine. Okay, so, anybody would want to make a motion to allow me to reply back, saying that the information can be viewed here at Town Hall?
I thought we did that.
I thought we did, didn't we?
No,
I'll
you
give
did
you that
not.
motion.
We didn't?
Thank you.
All right, make a motion.
I got it all organized.
Yeah, I got them on.
Read the motion.
The motion is that I'm going to be replying back to the requester for the documents to be used and viewed here at Town Hall.
Did you put the time?
During
Please.
normal business
Yeah,
hours.
yeah, okay.
Now, there's something else. What if they come in at 4:15? They
That's-
close at 4:30.
Well, they can view them for 15 minutes, right?
You have to be a
And then
fast
come back.
reader.
Well, and I have, you guys have made a motion to, and you guys will be voting on a resolution to allow 20 hours for me to have overtime.
And that's to do research.
That's right.
And we
Well,
will
that's
get
to
time.
For these
fulfill.
records requests.
Correct, that's to fulfill the additional records part of this. To find the land, and again, it'll have to be on a weekend, or even after I badge out, after I,
Clock out.
yeah.
Okay, did I get a motion?
Becky,
Yes.
motion first.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second.
All right, vote.
Wolf,
Yes?
David,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
and Tom, you abstain.
Abstain, correct.
Okay.
Now, is there any other records requests we need to talk about?
There's been a few in between that I've just been doing at my leisure. some questions to answer. And I think as those permit, if they become a records request, I may have to come back to the committee and ask.
Very
But
good.
there are, not only is this, but the state auditors have required me to go ahead and keep a log of every time that I've replied, how long it's been taking me, you know, who the requester is, what the request was, what my response is. So that, again, that's way over the time that has been allowed that I probably should be doing. But I do feel that it's important that if people are asking for requests, that they are fulfilled in a timely manner and that we are following the law. So
That's what the auditors want, that's what
That's
the
right.
auditors get.
yes, so on to that other section of determining records request policy. I think we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But action for completion, you know, the imaged copies, we've already spoke about that. The overtime, you guys allotted 20 hours. Again, the 20 hours is on the high side, just in case, because as you guys know, and I want to reiterate this, I come out of the general fund, okay? I come out of the general fund at my salary. What has to happen is if we go over 20 hours, and there are additional requests that come through, we will have to take it back to the Financial Commission Committee, okay? And the Financial Commission Committee met today at 10 o'clock, which means that you have involved the treasurer's office, you have, you know, probably 6 or 7 different other departments within the state. We will have to come back to them and amend the general fund forecast, our 5-year forecast for the physical emergency. So it'll have to come back to this committee that was here today and say Courtney needs more than 20 hours of overtime in order to complete this
Our
request.
meeting
The
next
state
meeting
auditors?
is March.
We don't
March
meet
the
till March 19th.
March 19th.
But then what will happen is, you know, that has to be fixed into the forecast because that's not I don't have overtime in my fund.
We'd have to do it through the commission then.
Yeah, so the commission's going to have to approve that allowance. The state auditors will have to, again, reforecast that and make an allotment for that to exist. So
Okay.
again, keep that in mind that as we move forward and we get requests like this, I've been instructed not to, or to keep a tally of what, you know, what we should, you know,
Very good.
provide.
I'm spending it anyway.
I have it, yes.
She had it.
Okay,
Now,
so that motion was carried, so I just kind of, sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
But as far as the resolution, there's going to be a resolution to present
Yes,
here
We've
for
already agreed on.
Monday
It'll be Monday.
for the 20 hours of overtime. That was already recommended. That was, a motion was taken.
Right.
A resolution will state that Courtney Bricker to request, council is going to allot her 20 hours to do public records requests.
Okay.
So that will not be completed until
Monday
that's been
night.
approved.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will respond back again, you know, I do feel that in a timely manner, we should be getting this completed. But I will be responding back that effective on Tuesday, and over time, you know, Courtney will research these items.
Very good.
Okay, question in there, if I may ask again. So this is in regards strictly for the current request that was put in.
Yes,
So I'll have to abstain then.
yes,
Okay.
yep,
Thank you.
yep.
Okay, now, you've got 5 copies of policies. Do you
Yes.
want to make copies? Do you want them to look at them? Do you
We
want
haven't been
to,
looking
you
at
want to
them.
highlight them? Do you want to go
We've been
over the
looking at 'em,
high
Billy. You're
points?
Look
behind.
down, Billy, and stuff.
But understand too, is that it's, you know, in some of these municipalities, they're kind of all over the board. One doesn't even have a policy and they follow the sunshine
They
law.
just go by the least.
But we gotta go by cost too, is that, you know, we have a printer sitting out here, and if somebody wants 3 reams, I mean, again, anybody can request this. If they want 3 reams of paper, we get charged for making a copy of those records. So I mean, to say that we're gonna, you know, give them away for free for a penny,
No.
you know, we can't afford that either.
No way, no way.
So I'm just saying, be mindful, again, be mindful if they want to have them re-imaged or things at any reason to be re-imaged or anything.
Right.
We gotta make sure who's gonna eat the cost. And again, you're looking at 65 to 70 per
They're
hour
very pricey.
to get those re-imaged.
We shouldn't re-image.
There's not going to be
We
a
didn't look at
discussion.
it.
We are not eating any costs.
Not that kind.
Well,
I just had a
we're
commission meeting today.
eating the cost of overtime.
Well, read that. That's because the law says we have to,
I know.
but we're not eating anything that
I like South Charleston's really. I mean, it's straight to the point. I mean, they can view it at free at any time. Yeah, it's 10 cents a copy. Then it says flash drive. The requester supplies a flash drive. So if they want to put it on a flash drive or whatever, they have to
Bring in
buy
their
and
own
bring it.
flash drive and copy it.
I mean, and it's,
Something
I
else on
think
the
that's
cost.
fair, 10 cents a copy.
I do too. I mean,
What'd you say they charge 15 cents?
10 cents a copy.
The copy company
That's
charges us so much for a black copy.
Yes.
Black copy we make.
Yes.
And every color copy
Correct.
we make.
That's how
So
ours
we
is
ought to
set up.
consider that cost.
That's right.
And it's almost 10 cents.
Yes.
You can't copy it for 10 cents because you don't cover your cost.
I think this Grove City one also has a really nice one, you know, the format, I mean, this is but this format, and then they actually have a back page on how to, it's a little records request form that you fill out, and it specifies, it has to be the 8.5 by 11 black and white is the,
Yeah, because you could get legal.
yeah, because if they
some of our
wanted, and they want, and it
resolutions-
says it's only one-sided,
Yeah.
and then if they want copies of pictures, and we have to pay for those, let's say they wanted photographs we have of maps, then they would have to pay the cost to reproduce that map, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that policy is kind of, I mean, this one I like too, it's very, but that one's a little more specific.
Yeah, because I get that, because most of our resolutions back in the day were on legal.
papers.
And legals would need to be a little bit more, and that's
Even
how
though
it
it's
is at the
legal 15
drugstore.
cents and normal 10 cents.
This one's only
It's
5
basic.
cents, you know, they're not even
Yeah,
covering that
this
cost.
one's 10 cents.
I'd
Yeah,
say
'cause-
10 cents for regular, if it's illegal, 15 cents. I mean, and flash drives, they bring themselves.
And then anything else would be like photographs
Well-
and things, and maps would be actual cost to reproduce.
I'm just saying, like, the flash drives are good with the stuff from this point on, because see, what
Right.
happens is, when minutes are done, minutes don't have signatures. So I'm still gonna have to scan it, which means that the village still encumbers a charge for scanning of documents. So if you're gonna put it on a flash drive, I'm still gonna have to pull that information and scan it, and it's still, that's in our contract for
So
our printer.
do you know how much like scanning a page costs? I mean, you can't get a breakdown of that, or?
I can get it from the printer company,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, they should have to pay
What-
for any
what about-
reproduction cost.
What about going with Grove Cities?
Change the cost.
To change the cost. You gonna have a problem with that?
I don't have an answer. They didn't
It
teach
has
And let
to be
Tom
at least
view it
15
too.
cents. You can't,
Huh?
Don't look at me like
how
that.
much do you have on there?
I wrote 10,
It would have to be 15 cents because it's gonna cost us 10 cents to use our copier
Oh, does
per
it?
page.
Oh.
Whether we give it to you or anybody.
I like the way
Charge
you
that.
traded me.
That was what's
Covers our cost.
Well, like, even
I
with
think mine might
maps,
be nicer than yours.
like
Why?
maps and stuff like that, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
this
that could be a
covers
cost.
that.
That could be,
Yeah.
This covers all that.
I really like this, just
So-
modifying it.
So, has anybody got a problem with adopting?
Okay, but I want Tom to make sure he likes it and sees it.
Okay. all right.
I would like to make sure that,
I'll
and
bring
get
it
a
up.
motion that what the changes that you guys have made on here,
Should
because
it,
this will be part of the resolution for Monday.
Change the names.
no, like, does theirs have, theirs doesn't say, it just says, public records are available, let's say regular business hours, then it says for copies on 8.5 by 11, one-sided ink is whatever per page. All other copies.
Let's be a separate motion to itself and not include the. Thank you.
We won't do anything until Monday. So is everybody good with that?
I'm satisfied with that.
Are you good with that?
I'm not.
You
I'm
are.
not good with that.
That's why
I
I asked
am
you.
only good with it as a recommendation. I am only good with it once everybody has viewed it and you guys have made your edits, then I will make a motion that you guys, per the form, per the changes, that you want me to write a resolution up for this and it will be put on Monday's
Well,
meeting.
that's what we're gonna do.
That's the only way I'm gonna be doing it.
No,
I just wanted to.
Well, Billy, let me point this out here. Now, they was talking about the hours are here 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, our
Yeah, we'll
hours
change
here,
that.
Okay, you might want to.
Yeah, please make the edits as you guys go along.
What?
Please make the edits as you go along.
We are.
So you might want to give
And
the
then
rest
maybe
of us what would be
recirculate it to make sure you guys have caught everything.
8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. something.
Because I don't wanna,
Because there's different costs in different things.
Right.
So it's hard, like you said.
They've already
It's hard
changed
to
it.
list everything and what it would be.
Well, they come in with
Copies.
this, go on this, go on the flash drive. I mean, that stuff, I think they should supply the
yeah.
flash drive and this.
But again, I agree, but it's still gonna take time for me to scan it because that's not gonna be on the
Right.
flash drive. Because the signatures are not obtained.
Make sure they put it in there.
What I like about this though, Courtney, it just specifically addresses the 8.5 by 11 one-sided black, and then it says all other requests are at cost. So if you have to scan stuff, however many pages you scan to make that flash drive, you would charge a cost.
I like the format, and it's pretty much up to
Normal piece of
Right.
point.
And then everything else is
They
at
just,
cost.
they just put that in at 17, so you know it's pretty updated. Only a year, a little over a year.
Why, you know, I put the hammer down.
You know, they wanted to work the Madison Press.
Okay, we did change the time, and we did add to the, other than standard copy. The, whatever copy you call it, legal or something, or color, or whatever.
Standard.
You can,
It's too bad I don't have that in a Word document. I don't have to retype it all. Well, maybe I could call, well, yeah, maybe I could call him, see if I can get a Word document.
there you go, just call Grove City. Yeah.
Every time I mark out city, I'm just putting a V for
Good,
village.
okay.
That's it. Could you give them the same copy?
Yeah, I think I will, yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
online? Yeah. VPF you can.
So are we recommend, is council gonna recommend to the fiscal officer to adopt,
To draw up a resolution.
draw up a resolution
To adopt the new policy.
well, yeah, adopt a new policy.
Would that be a
Grove
emergency?
City
So did you
guidelines.
Would that
guys-
be
did you
emergency
guys-
resolution?
I know,
Well, that's the other
I know
question I
we had
have.
said 10, but you said 15. Have we
At least
decided
15.
on a cost per page?
What
Because
does
you're
it
gonna
cost
pay that.
to print? I don't know.
I don't know.
You're gonna pay
How they
10
did
cents.
that.
I would say, I would say 15, I would say 15 because if you look at the last policy that they claimed was updated back in 2007, I mean,
How much
that's
was it on
been,
there?
how many years? Huh?
How much was that one on that?
5 cents?
Oh, shoot.
But still,
207.
if you get out your bill from Gordon Place, you'll find it's the cost there.
No, they do it as a whole.
Oh, they don't?
Bye.
See you, Jan.
See you, Jim.
Thank
All right.
Be careful.
But at the church, mine comes on each.
Yeah, ours comes, since we pay yearly, ours is just an invoice. And it just shows you how many, remember how we came and sat at this table before?
Yeah, I know.
And it only shows you how many images you had.
Our machine is paid for too. I mean, we don't rent it.
Well, and with savings too, I mean, you know, council's done a lot of savings too, as far as, you know, not having the packets printed out. I mean, I know I try to conserve and use my printer back here to do that.
Get some more.
But yeah, I mean, if somebody's gonna request something, you'd be using potentially a lot of reams of paper. And we're at 3:03, so just let you guys know the time.
Are citizens allowed to make a suggestion?
You're the chair, right?
What's the question?
She wants to know if citizens are allowed to make a question or a suggestion.
I will obtain a question if you give me your name so we can put.
My name is Samantha Graham. Samantha Graham.
Go ahead.
And my suggestion is, since we're having so many problems with the issues with the coming up with money for the water plant, why not charge 25 cents a sheet and that extra money start going towards something? Make it to where when they make the request, they receive it within 72 hours, because if they make the request that day at 4:15, can't guarantee you're going to have it done within, 15 minutes. So, and you will receive your copies within 72 hours. And for the hard drive, if someone's requesting a hard drive, yeah, they have a hard drive, but if you want to transfer all that documents, that's going to charge you, we're going to charge you $25 or something, you know, some amount to have it transferred.
Okay. You like what she said?
Well, I mean, it's a good idea, I mean, in theory, but we're not, obviously, we're not allowed to charge for overtime. We're not allowed to charge according to the sunshine laws. We're not allowed to charge anything but the cost. We can't put it in a rainy day fund. It would be nice if we could,
Never
because
will.
that's the problem, the water bills being so high, and this is like we're going backwards instead of forwards with the cost of these. But unfortunately, it's
So you
just,
can't change the price,
That would
but
be
can you
practical.
put must pay in advance? We'll
Yes.
receive it within 72 hours, and then something about the hard drive. I would, you're using your time, so don't do it for free just because they bring in their own hard drive. Charge them something because they're taking time out of you that
It
you're
covers the
working.
rest of the cost.
yeah, it covers.
Does it?
It covers everything
What's the,
else that costs, like the
okay.
hard drives and maps and photos and all that.
But like, you know, like what she's saying is that, you know, if it comes in at 4:15 and you want to transfer a large document or whatever,
Mhm.
then say it comes into my office, it's at 4:15, say I leave at 4:30.
You just say it's gonna take longer,
Yeah,
15 minutes.
but like with the 72 hours, like I don't know if that's enough time just because
Because on
like
a
what if
weekend,
it's,
that wouldn't give you
But what if
enough
it's a
time.
request like you have
That's
now,
what
and it's
I'm
gonna
saying.
take a long time to
So-
research?
Saturdays and Sundays excluded.
because like with my time, you know, I'm a contracted, you know, employee. So like if I have a doctor's appointment or something like that, I may not be available during that business hour, which we need for.
Well, like the sunshine law says, within reasonable time.
Yeah,
Yeah, we shouldn't sit on it for no
that's right.
month. You know what I mean? Reasonable time. And you get,
Look at
Come in
that
at
and see if you.
4:15 when you get by spec lunch, unless you're speeding.
Thank you. Are you all set?
Anything else?
I'm just going to have you guys review that, and then
Oh.
I will would like to have you guys make a motion that you would allow Courtney to draw up a resolution to present to council for a new policy.
I want to bring this up, is this going to be an emergency
Wait a
event?
minute.
Do you like that?
Well, that's the
Do you
question.
wanna see this, Lowell?
And if it's going to be an emergency.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Yep, that's the question.
He's making the motion.
Well, that's the motion on the table, is to have this as an emergency.
That's why I
All
brought
right, we want it as an emergency,
it
not.
has to, because she's gotta get her record request filled.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
so
we need
emergency,
this.
David?
Yeah, I agree with
Go
that
ahead,
motion.
Pat.
Okay, he motioned it, is it?
Question.
Yeah,
Now, this is strictly for
The new
voting
policy.
for the new
correct.
resolution
Yes.
dealing
From a
with
policy-
future events.
Yes,
Yeah.
or the policy from this point forward, or when it's adopted on Monday, that if Bob wants to send a request in come February the 20th, then then we would follow what that policy says.
Okay, the reason why I asked that, because you mentioned previously also replying back. And
Yes.
if you're replying back, then I can't, I'll have to abstain, but if it's
Yeah,
strictly
and
for
you
this.
abstain. Yeah, I have you motion down for.
Thank you,
Yeah.
This is for only the policy, recommendation for policy.
thank you.
Okay, so David made a motion,
Second,
I'll second it.
thank you.
and again, this is just a recommendation. This is not
Okay.
putting
To
anything
adopt.
into law.
Policy
Right.
for next Monday.
To allow Courtney to draw up a resolution
Okay.
to have you guys vote on it. This is, when I'm asking for motions, I want everybody to be clear on that. When there's asked for a motion, it's not to adopt, because you can't
Right.
adopt legislation through these work sessions.
Right.
Right.
But this is just saying, Courtney, we've given you that direction to go ahead and do
Okay.
that.
Yes.
Okay, so, roll call. Lowell,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
and Tom.
Yes.
Okay. Now, our next meeting is finance. The next date is,
Tomorrow will be a finance work session, and that is to discuss the salary, the job postings for a village administrator position.
now,
Now, is that everybody or just finance?
Yes, that's gonna be everybody.
One time set.
2:15.
can you have those ready by tomorrow?
What?
What you have here?
To reply back?
No, the resolution.
No,
You can have it read.
no. Any resolutions will be all presented on Monday.
I know, but you can't have the draft ready?
Yeah, I can do this if you guys want. But that was only, yeah, if it was a finance work session.
Just so we have another chance to edit it one last time.
Well, you guys will have it edited for Friday when it comes out in your packets.
Okay.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And your rules of council state that if you have any questions, you are to direct that to the
Okay,
mayor.
we'll have it Friday.
Yes.
But tomorrow's finance is to deal with the village
Job.
administrator.
They on administrator
With
yourself.
the job duties and the salary and all that.
Correct.
That's a finance meeting,
Yes.
but everybody's welcome.
Will we have, like information from the previous
Yes.
job?
Yes. You will have, I would provide a recommendation on behalf of the financial part of it,
Okay.
on what should be allowed. And you're going into round table, right? Is that what we're at? Okay. So, since we're in the round table, I will provide to you guys a copy of the job posting and requirements that I've already drawn up. It's actually already what you guys have for, yeah, what we currently had, I just added a few things. You guys will have a financial recommendation from myself, being the fiscal officer, and asking for an allowance to go ahead and have that posted.
When is the deadline when we must have a
Now it's a work
administrator?
session or a
We don't
finance
have
meeting?
to.
A finance work session.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Now, we do have a policy for village administrator in place.
There, in the strength chart, you do. You do
All right.
have a village administrator
So
still in the
that's-
strength chart.
So that's what we need.
Well, you have it. You just need to
We will-
allow Courtney
We will
to.
have it, we've added to it.
Yes.
Well,
There's a difference. Strength chart shows everybody that makes up the organizational chart here within the village. The job responsibility and the job description is basically what that village administrator's responsibilities are from a day to day. Those are two totally different things. But you guys will be presented with a job description of what's required of them to complete that
Yes.
job.
And let me ask you this, or tell me if I should wait till tomorrow. You were talking about the auditor and the money has to be budgeted in. The auditor's already aware that
Yep.
we're gonna fill
Yeah.
that position? Okay.
Absolutely.
For during the commission.
That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I know they suggested it, but they've budgeted that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
that was already in there, wasn't
No, it was not.
it? It was not?
But we will be, again, here at Roundtable, we will begin to have you guys as a whole, as a council, to review what that new forecast is gonna be, and that's built into that forecast. So as is Jack's. Jack's, his being an employee now. Again,
1099.
yeah. So he's not a 1099 anymore, he's gonna become an employee, which means that you have OVERS coming out and you have Medicare coming out now.
We did that.
Yeah. we talked
Yes,
about that.
he asked for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Visitor comment.
Visitors' comments.
That was my next question, and I see things being closed up. Is it over? May I ask a question?
Sure.
So I'm just curious, and I've been gone for a few months, but then I caught wind that there have been a lot of requests for information, blah, 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 blah. What's trying to be sought out? What is somebody trying to do? Why is all of a sudden there's
We can't ask them that.
20?
No, we can.
I don't have a clue, Julia.
Says who? Who says we can't ask? I'm asking.
She states it's.
No, I'm not trying to be
We can ask, but we can't ask.
It's
them
stuff in regards.
You can, but where's that, you have it highlighted.
I found it.
Hold
It's
it up.
stuff in
I
regards
found it,
to
but we're not
the,
supposed to.
it's.
No, in the sunshine law.
We're not supposed
Bold
to.
cover, black and white.
Yeah, but in the sunshine law, there has to be a purpose or a reason of why we're asking that for requester.
We're not
He has-
supposed to ask the requester
But we can
why-
answer you.
why he or she wants this information.
Okay, so am I allowed to ask? Why this person?
You can
Only
ask
because,
whatever
I mean,
you
we're
want.
in a fiscal emergency and somebody's asking Courtney to do 20 hours of overtime for what? I'm asking for what? What's going on?
I believe, just from the requests that have been asked of, I believe that she thinks through these requests that possibly she can find some relief for the water debt, the new water debt. That's what I'm assuming, because she wants,
We
the,
shouldn't even speculate. We should not even speculate.
Yeah.
Why?
You're just-
Because she could,
maybe I'm wrong, but
I know you are, because
No, you're
it says she
fine,
shouldn't.
you're fine, but
Okay,
we
so
have
it's-
no, we have, long story, We have no idea why this lady is asking this.
Right.
Or how, I don't know how many different
didn't ask
ladies
her.
are asking, or if it's a guy.
I didn't ask her.
I just heard
You
that
can't
there's a
ask
lady,
a question.
I just recently heard her name.
There is,
We do
there is
not
in the
have any
sunshine, Becky
idea.
is right, like I said. You have a
No
highlight
idea.
that says, there is.
We all can
You're all
Not
tell
having
you
that
what
instruction.
we think.
Part of
is-
that, you
is
can,
up,
depending
but
upon what it is.
we can't.
You can ask the reason
We're-
being.
You know, we
And they
shouldn't.
can't just come in
And I
and
will
dig
find
through the
that.
boxes and get the
Well,
answers.
the thing
No,
is,
no.
if we knew the ultimate goal, maybe there's a way we could help her get her answers quicker. You know what I mean? If we knew, you know, that might, it's not like, to me, it's not being nosy, it's being helpful. Like, is there something we can help you get to it quicker? What, you know, that would just be my thing. If
Okay, we're in round table. Do I have to do this Monday night?
Yes, you do.
Who would have known?
I'm sorry, yeah.
Who would have known?
Well, if you remember, I think I brought that up to you earlier last year when it first came out, that we wasn't for sure what the date was, so.
All right, well,
Because all of council has to vote upon it.
okay, no problem.
And you cannot make
I'll
any
present it Monday
legislative.
night. Shut the Church Street down. I'm gonna lay it right here so I don't forget it.
Bang your head on the
Okay.
But can I have that, I just want to check the time. Okay, we got 3 minutes.
Visitor comments, anybody?
We have, okay, just give, can you give
You're
me 3
afraid to say
minutes?
anything now.
Oh, no, I'm not, oh, and you can't click the pen
Or
like
can you
that.
say 3 minutes?
In the meetings, you're doing it right next to the mic, so we
Yes.
just have, yes, and we're going click, 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 just so you know.
I do have.
You do it, and you tap the table.
I didn't have.
Get a rubber band and plug it.
Yeah.
Said once.
All right, so
Courtney said she needed an extra
I'll
3
erase
minutes.
Becky's comments from my
I
brain.
found out the Lord's talking about.
Can I have that?
No, for the meeting. Pretend I didn't know. I didn't know.
Okay, can I
You're
have your,
good. You're good. You're
just
good.
give me like 1 more minute.
What do you want? What are you looking for?
Feel the pressure?
I just want to see something.
Give you 1 more minute.
The Wallers get their water tanks.
Yes, they are scheduled to be here.
They haven't come in yet? What are you looking for? Eat, sleep, and breakfast.
Okay, are we?
I was looking
Okay.
for
I can check that for you.
Here.
I'll send it out. Julia, I'll go ahead and send that out to you.
For an hour the other day.
In regards to your question, there is something in the sunshine in the ORC
That
that
we can't ask. Okay, sure. And if I shouldn't have asked, then never mind.
we are adjourned because it's 3:17 now.
All right.
You're a member of the public. You can ask anything
You can ask anything I want. Okay.
Hold on. Is anybody going to adjourn the meeting?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, we're adjourned.
Wow.
Oh,
Hold on, I gotta shut this off real quick.